Hello, everybody. How are we today? Hello from Connecticut. How are you, Bill? Phyllis, how are you? Christopher, my boy, how are you, buddy? Iron, how you doing? Karen, great to see you. Chris, hello from PA. Hello from PA myself. We got Texas here. Christina. We got the Skeleton Master. I like that name. Norway tracking. Yeah, man, the lightning chart is off the chain right now. Mass destruction. How are you, buddy? Houston, Texas. Hello. Esmeralda Martinez. How are you? True Helper. I knew you'd be here. Good to see you, buddy. Bipolar weather indeed. Yes, Iron. Absolutely. Can you do a report on the air quality from the Alberta, Canada fires? I believe I can do that. We'll find a chart. We'll look into it. We'll see what's going on up there. Right now, you should just be seeing the temperature chart at the moment. Solvis, what's up, buddy? Yes, this is the start of the stream. We are live right now. As long as there's no echoes or crazy noises you're hearing, hopefully I'm doing this correctly. Oh my god, are we receiving notifications? Unbelievable. It's working. Just gotta be persistent and things will work out. Man, some insane hurricanes are coming soon. Yes, that is true. That is exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about hurricanes, non hurricanes. We're going to talk about some hype and a couple things we should actually really be looking out for. Not to say that this little thing going on in the Gulf isn't something to watch, but it's going to be, in my opinion, more of a rainmaker once it makes that northern hook up into the U.S. A significant rainmaker at that. So it's not without its effects, let's say. Of course, yes, the chances of it becoming a hurricane, tropical storm, even a weak tropical storm, subtropical, anything in that area you don't want to see, especially in the Gulf. We're in the second day of hurricane season, and we're already about to name our second storm, which would be Barry, and then we're on to letter C. Now, if this storm that we're about to take a look at is Barry, then C is going to be something that we might need to look out for, even though it's a ways into the future. As each day goes by, it gets closer. Not much change in the trajectory of this second storm we're going to talk about, but we'll just take a few minutes, let some people get in here, and while we're doing so, we'll look at some tabs. So, right now, we're looking at our local Doppler. This takes us down to the northern part of South America. We got Central America covered. We got our Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, Leeward Islands. We got the Bahamas, and then, of course, the Gulf. We could see the mess building up here. And yeah, we're seeing some action down here for sure. Things are getting pretty serious. We're still at about 60% formation over 2 days now. So we are in a 2 day 60% expectation of cyclone formation. The tropical index intensity chart is very much in agreement with that. As you guys can see, we spoke about this yesterday. We have a pretty fast and west to east moving system that began around Oregon, Washington, California, and that thing is just shooting straight across the U.S. There's no ups, there's no downs, almost as if we do not have a jet stream right now. I mean, obviously we do, but It just, from the looks of it, it just looks like these streaks, boom, 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 streaking across. And when you get that, you get fast winds, you get quick storms, big storm cells, lots of lightning, as Norway Tracking mentioned earlier. Um, we're heating up, guys. We're right in the heart of things right now, and you could see why. Gulf Coast right now. Basically, you could call this an average of, we got 85 here, 83 here, 89 here. Let's go about 86 degrees around the Gulf of Mexico here. The water is a solid 80 to 83 degrees, and we're just at that level where any sort of cyclone formation that moves into the Gulf will get stronger. I know Michael was a late season-ish type storm, but the water is what made that storm become true. We're talking about Hurricane Michael of last year, the one that was upgraded from a 4 to a 5, and was actually a tropical storm at one point in the Gulf, and then skipped to a 5 before hitting Mexico Beach in Florida. So the Gulf is big enough and certainly holds enough warm water to not only sustain hurricanes, but to strengthen them in a very short period of time. Now, if you guys remember Hurricane Nate, Nate would have been the opposite. Had Nate been a slow hurricane, Nate was actually a record breaker for fastest moving hurricane. It shot the gap here between Cuba and Cancun, Mexico, and just went boop straight up. So there's lots of differences in hurricanes. The speed, where they come from, and in fact, this second disturbance that we're going to look at, that's around June 10th, 11th, 12th, give or take. That could all change. I know it looks into the future. That one actually is coming off the west coast of Africa and dips underneath Cuba and probably goes through the Leeward Islands and then comes up this way. That's what's interesting to me. So we're already getting stuff off the west coast of Africa, but then again, we have something brewing in the southern Caribbean. So, and you can see it here. Right here is where we're going to be watching for a little bit, and we're going to try to keep this stream under 2 hours. We are not doing these 4-hour things where I just ramble on. We want to get to some points, answer some questions, and get the facts out there, because there's a lot of people that are putting videos out saying that this is a hurricane already. It's going to destroy Texas. It's going to destroy Louisiana. Guys, we cannot be doing stuff like this. We need to watch these things on a daily basis. We need to put out correct data and not scare people. I understand hurricane season. A lot of people are on their toes for what's to come and stuff like that. So, we got to be careful with how we word these things. So, with that said, we're going to dig into a few things. Let me check the chat real quick again. All right, we got True Helper in there. That's always a great thing. True Helper, you are awesome. Thank you for being here again. You haven't switched the screen yet, my friend. Interesting. Oh, God. So sorry. Here we go. Once again, the first 10 minutes of the live stream, you guys have not been seeing anything I've been pointing at. So, there's another mistake by me. Ay, caramba. All right, you guys can see it now, right? Yes, Jeremy, I try to watch the chat and my screen at the same time. It's hard because, watch, when I do this and I'm looking at a screen, the chat disappears. So, I got the chat here. All right, good. So, let's just pretend we started here. So, anyway, what I was saying before is, I mean, we heard it. We heard what I was saying, but we're going to show you now. So, first of all, here are our temperatures. And as I was mentioning before, the Gulf, very warm. The Gulf waters are very warm. Very capable of sustaining and strengthening hurricanes. So, because we have this Invest down here, Invest 91L, I believe it is still called. It has not gone past the Invest stage yet. But as we show this chart here, we can clearly see that there's a lot of action going on right in this area, right in this hook zone, and a lot of it's moving into the water. Now, things forming over land is one thing, because if you think about it, you can't see the west coast of Africa on this chart, but the storms that come off West Africa and then make their way all the way down here and then become a situation for the Gulf or for the East Coast, they have a long time to travel in warm water. And the warm water is right by the equator, so it's that perfect path for them to take and strengthen. And we watch them strengthen. Sometimes they will jump up into this area depending on the Bermuda Atlantic bubble, which is actually forming. It's there. We're starting to see that high pressure bubble where it just like circles the entire Atlantic Ocean, and then anything that moves in or around it goes underneath and follows the outside of it. So if we were, for example, to have a storm, tropical storm, category 1, you name it, and we're watching it and it's coming this way, if there were a break in the Bermuda Atlantic bubble, it could naturally just turn north. You got to remember, these hurricanes in the northern hemisphere, they spin counterclockwise against the clock. When you are south of the equator, they spin clockwise. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind. With that said, when we watch these storms come this way, the only reason they would move up over the Leeward Islands is because the high pressure bubble in the Atlantic allows it to. These storms do not move on their own. They are forced by everything around them. It's not like there's a hurricane and it's like, all right, I'm going to go north today, then I'm going to go west or east today, so on and so forth. They're all controlled by other pressures, other systems, high pressures, the jet stream. The jet stream saved us last year multiple times, and even in 2017 when we had a really, really rough year, it could have been a lot worse. Last year in particular, we had a situation where the jet stream basically saved the east coast of Florida from being hit by a massive hurricane. Thing kind of shot out this way and then dissipated in the cooler water. So this is all important information. But I can't believe I did that with the chat. It's so annoying. But hey, we're back on track. It's all good. All right, let's see. Now that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, we'll start reading some comments. Hello, my love. There she is. All right, so we got True Helper and we got Type X in moderating for now. That's great. 2 is better than 1. And next time, I promise, after that intro, you will see what I'm talking about rather than me just talking. Harvey was bad for us. Yes, Christina, Harvey was bad for everybody. Harvey is the reason that weather channels on YouTube went from about 200 to about 200,000. So ever since that storm hit and it woke people up because we were kind of falling asleep after Katrina. Katrina was a big deal. I watched your video, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you. Katrina was a very big deal. It will always be a big deal. It has done permanent damage to areas where people more than likely will never live again. And a few years went by where we didn't have much going on, and then Harvey hit. And then Harvey woke everyone up, and ever since then, it's been, hurricane season's almost been like a holiday for some people. So, when I'm talking about hurricane season, a lot of people, they say, wow, you seem so excited for this type of stuff. I mean, you should be warning people and this and that. That's exactly what we do. Don't get me wrong. I get excited when I see a hurricane, but I do not get excited when I know people are in the path of this hurricane. And the reason we do this on a daily basis is so we can get as much warning out as possible. If I'm wrong, I will literally let you guys send me eggs and I will crack them all over my face. I would much rather that than be right and have people say that nothing's going to happen, this is going to happen. Karen G, wow. Thank you so much. Totally unnecessary, but you are awesome. You've been here since day one. You do not have to do that to get our attention. We always know that you support this channel, and thank you so much for that, Karen. You have no idea what that means to Carolina and I. Very, very much. Thank you. Yes, True Helper. True Helper's all over you guys when you guys donate to the channel. Karen, hey, thank you so much. It means a lot to us. But with that said, guys, it's yeah, wacky, scary. Very well put, Corey. That's exactly what we deal with here. It's the wacky and the scary. And now that we are in hurricane season, and remember, just because it's June 1st and 2nd doesn't mean we're going to start getting hurricanes every single day. 2017 was one of those unique years where at one point you could look at this chart alone and you would see three hurricanes in a row all barreling towards the same area. So, it happens. It's all about atmospheric conditions. If you guys noticed in the intro, they have upped their expectation of serious hurricanes and named hurricanes. So now we're up to about 14 to 15 predicted named storms. We're already through one. Chances are we're going to hit two with Barry here. Maybe, maybe not. I do have some spaghetti plots lined up for us here. Now, I've gone over this a few times in the past, but we can only go over it again because we have new subs, we have new people every day, and we got to explain this type of thing. A lot of people look at these charts and they're like, oh my God, what is this? I have no idea. Long story short, each one of these colored lines you see is a different company. You can even match them up to here. Different outlets that make their guesses, their ideas of where a certain storm is going to go. And being that this is an invest right now within the Gulf, they are putting out spaghetti plots of where they think this storm is going to go in the future. So, what I want to point out first and foremost, this is very important. You're always going to see a black dotted line with these black triangles. Now, what this means is that that is the direction that this storm system is currently heading. This is not a plot. This is not one of the stringy lines that you see here where the storm could go, although it is possible the storm could go this way. This is just showing you what direction it's going as of right now. Where the storm's gonna go is more than likely what you see here. Now, what we want as far as this storm not becoming anything more significant than a tropical storm or a tropical cyclone, a subtropical storm, or even a possible hurricane is we want this thing to hit land as much as possible within the next 24 to 48 hours, kind of like this green line you see here. But even then, don't get me wrong, even when that happens, that does not mean it will not have a direct effect on the U.S. As you notice, a lot of these spaghetti plots have this thing curling and then into the U.S. That's due to different pressures. We have a west to east trade wind basically constantly moving across the southern part of the U.S., and then we also have a constant upflow coming in from the Gulf with the warm air. We talk about this very often too. Being that this storm formed in this area, chances are the flow comes this way. It's like a bunch of arrows. That's why it's flowing like this. Had this storm formed in this area, you would see more of a flow like this. So, I mean, we're kind of getting lucky with this first one, or the second one, I should say, Barry. But what we don't want to see is this thing stay over water and have time to form, because like I said, the water in the Gulf is warm enough to sustain these storms. Now, parts of Mexico, yes, there's going to be a massive amount of rain due to this storm. And then there's a chart I flipped through really quick, this one right here. Now you can kind of get an idea down in this area. This is the Gulf here. Here is the borderline of Mexico, and then going into southern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Panhandle, Florida, the Keys, and then the rest of the Gulf. Now, this is a 5-day rain chart, so they're predicting 60% chance of formation of this storm over 2 days, possibly 5 days. When you get into those colors, 60%, 70%, 80, 90 are in red, 60 and 50 usually in orange, and then 40 and below are in yellow. Being that this is in 60, it's certainly going to be a rainmaker, and because of the spaghetti plots, they're not exactly sure where this thing is going to go. We can make our educated guesses, but bottom line is it's going to cause a lot of rain, whether it becomes a tropical system or not. So, over the next 5 days, you can see here June 2nd, going into the 3rd, and then through the 8th. So we're talking 5 days. This is a 5-day rain chart. So within the next 5 days, whether this becomes a tropical system or it stays as is, no matter what, we are going to see heavy rain at least along the southern east coast of Texas. It's going to move in through Louisiana, and then here we go. Ground zero again. This is always what we call ground zero, or at least on this channel we do. And it's for many reasons. It could be from a system coming from the west and from the southeast at the same time, or southwest at the same time, and they always end up meeting right here. That's why we get this crazy weather in the middle of the country, especially during season changes. So it's going to be no different now. So this is what you should be expecting if you live in parts of Texas or Oklahoma. It's going to be Louisiana first, and then moving up into Arkansas, Missouri, you name it, and then it kind of flattens out. And remember, this is over a 5-day period. This is not going to be a one-day thing, so this is 5 days, keep in mind. So this also shows the movement of the moisture. And then once again, it's just like we've been dealing with the tornado situation. There's kind of a bowing effect that goes right underneath Chicago, right near the top part of Illinois. And that's pretty consistent because we have high pressure systems that come down from Canada. That allows cold air to come down. In fact, our temperature chart is still showing that. Sorry, guys, I have a lot of charts pulled up. And while we're here on this chart, here's your 60% right here. So as of right now, showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad area of low pressure over the Bay of Campeche, or Campeche, however you want to pronounce it. I'm just going to say it. Remain disorganized. So even though they have the 60% chance over 5 days and 48 hours, that's basically them saying they're not sure. They're not sure whether it's going to form in 5 days or in the next 2. It could be either or. Sometimes that's a good thing to know. Sometimes it's bad because if they don't know, then how is anyone else going to know? And that's why we have channels like this. But with that said, let me continue reading here. This system is expected to move slowly northwestward toward the coast of Mexico. So that would be northwestward. So that's why you saw a lot of the part of Mexico here highlighted with the... Sorry, we're going to be doing this a lot with this changing of the tabs. You're going to see that part of Mexico here highlighted with some of these deep reds and purples. You match it to this area here, you're talking 2, 3, even 4 inches of rain in a short period of time. And then when you get to the center of the country here by Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, you're in those deep reds. You're talking 3, 4, 5, and this could change over the next couple of days. It could be an easy 7 inches of rain over the next 5 days. So it's a lot of water. And over the last 12 to 14 days where we broke records with tornadoes, this is not going to help. And this is the Mississippi River once again, which has overflowed its banks. There have been levees breached. I could make a whole separate video on just how levees breaching all over the Mississippi River are happening. We were talking about this way early in the season that we were scared of this happening. And also this moisture making it up to the Great Lakes, which are already, many of them, if not all, are at peak levels as far as water goes. So that's going to affect a lot of people. As we've talked about, there's 40 million people that rely on the Great Lakes for fresh water. But back to the topic here. Spaghetti plots, once again, this is current direction. This is going to change dramatically. Probably within the next couple hours, you'll see these triangles pointing this way. I do not see this storm coming out this way in any way, shape, or form based on the pressures. It's going to hug the Mexican coast, and then once we get to Texas, that's when things are really going to ramp up, and we're going to see what this thing's going to do. But if you notice some of these spaghetti plots here, like this green one with the orange triangles, you can line that up right here. That's the TABD chart. They're saying that this is going to stay in the water and then hug and then clip that southeast corner of Louisiana. Now, again, I can't predict this. I don't know. My estimate, my guess on this is that we're going to see this thing hug the coast more than anything. It's going to be a rainmaker. If it does go past an invest name and we do get to see Barry, all that means, if it stays at that point, is that it's going to pack a little punch. It's going to have some wind to it. The coast of Texas will certainly feel it. And if we can keep this thing in the water long enough, it's going to be Texas and the west coast, southwest coast of Louisiana that are going to get the brunt of this. And then once it hits, you see that spread out of water that we looked at on this chart. That's when you're going to start seeing this. So this is pretty much 3 to 4, maybe 5 days away from seeing this type of moisture in the middle of the U.S. If I'm making sense. I hope I'm not moving too fast for a lot of you guys. I haven't checked the chat in a minute. We'll see what's going on here. And yes, Norway Tracking, very knowledgeable guy. If you have questions, he very much can answer a lot of them for you. It rarely ever gets flooded here in Philly unless you're in an area near the Delaware River. That's very true. Lower level areas of Philly do get flooded. It's not that often, but then again, we are in a time of weather where not often means it's more than likely going to happen. That's just where we are at this point. What do we got here? Special marine warning for Long Island. Yes, that is true. In fact, I have a solar system scope, $29.99 at the App Store, my friends. If you are interested, $9 if you want to buy it on your phone. This is probably the most accurate and my most new favorite app I have been using for the last couple weeks now. So let's take a look at this area near Long Island and New York. If I could find it, here we go, Suffolk County. That is considered Long Island. Long Island is part of New York. Long Island is not Long Island. It is Long Island, New York. So just so you guys are aware of that. Because we don't have tornado warnings, I'm keeping this as, we're going to go to reflectivity so we can actually see the storm cells here. And yes, sometimes it is hard to make out the actual borders of these areas. Here's Long Beach. If we back out a little bit, you would see New York City is right here. And then we got special marine warnings for just south of Long Island. So, yes, there are marine warnings going on. There is a cell moving through just southeast of Glen Cove. This thing is expected to move through Comac and Coram, New York. Let's see, 10:20. And then by 10:50, it should be right where the radar is actually giving us our info. So this radar that we're looking at right now is showing us everything to the east. There should be a radar closer to this area I could check that might give us a little bit more data. Let's check that real quick we'll try this radar, the TEWR. And then we'll hit play and it'll show us where some of these cells are going. And you guys can see here, this is Long Island here. Comes down, it meets New York right here. And this is the bay. We got Connecticut up here, parts of Rhode Island. And this is what we're looking at, guys. We got a high lightning rate, so the storms are packed with energy. The special marine statement is exactly where it should be. And the last frame you see is what's going on right now. So this shows you a little bit of the future. If I hit pause there, this is where we're at right now. So this cell right here is exactly where you see it. It's right over the bay. Well, actually, no, this is right over Long Island. See, it's hard to see these borders here. I know there's an opacity option here where I can bring down these storms. But yes, this statement is legit. I would be on your toes about the rain here. Any strip land that sticks out of the U.S. that gets storm systems, they tend to be a bit stronger because you're surrounded by water on either side. Even if the system isn't wide enough to cover both ends of the island, you still have moisture and moisture. And in these months, it's warmer. We've hit 80s, we've hit 90s in the Northeast, and it's been muggy. So anything can happen. But yes, when you see these marine statements, you definitely want to check out for those because you usually see them along the borders of states that stick out into the ocean, especially Chesapeake Bay. As you can see, there's 1 and 2 at this moment. So What that's telling me is that a lot of this weather is coming and then either coming down or it's strips that are coming across in separate areas. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I have another chart where we can verify that, which we will do. Thank you very much. The offer to bite off award for $100 still for grabs. Oh boy. I thought you made a new channel. The AD joining DED. Did you make a new weather channel? I never felt the power of the thunder was unleashed on us. So where are you at, Doug? 91 Hell has brought itself more time than expected by slowing down. Yes, it has slowed down significantly, and that's why when I'm looking at those spaghetti plots, some of them have them even dipping into Mexico and parts of Texas. You never want to see these things hit land, but if we want to determine whether or not we want to see a tropical situation as opposed to a high rain situation, I'd rather the high rain than something tropical sitting in the Gulf, brewing, and then shooting up into the Gulf and causing more damage. But you are absolutely right. The thing has slowed down. It is gaining momentum. That's why it's at 60%. And I will not be surprised to see it jump right up to 70. And if it does jump to 70, that's when we really got to start to think about it. Because if you got this chart here, obviously this thing is going to do something with this deep amount of rain that is expected in the center part of the country, strictly due to this. Because you could see the line comes up and then it hits central South Texas and then goes straight up into Arkansas, obviously passing through Louisiana. So, all right, what else do we have here? Let's get to some information. So that Invest down in the Gulf right now is still being called Invest 91L. Right now we are at 25 knots as far as wind goes. In fact, let me refresh this, see if there's been any changes. 25 knots. The gusts are not available yet. The minimum central pressure is 1,007 millibars. Once we start hitting 999, 980s, 970s, that's when you start seeing things form a lot quicker. A whole lot quicker. And again, we can come down here. This is the central area of the low pressure. It is over water, which is why this thing is still being looked at very closely. They're actually, if not already, sending in the recon planes to get an idea of what this thing is going to do. Now, when you look at a picture like this, this is what I was talking about. Now, we have this green line that brings it into Mexico. This is good and bad because, one, you don't want it to hit directly into a part of Mexico where these people are going to have to deal with it, but at the same time, this would keep this thing from becoming tropical if it doesn't become tropical between here and here, which is very possible. We've seen it with our own eyes. We saw Michael go from tropical storm to Category 5 before hitting Mexico Beach in about the same amount of distance. So, again, very hard to predict. This line here is the worst of all of them. If this were to happen, this is when we could be dealing with the possibility of a Category 1. Again, I'm not making predictions here. I'm telling you different things that could possibly happen, and the longer these things are over water and the slower they're moving, the more chance they have to pick up energy, to pick up more water, you name it. So over the hours, a lot of these spaghetti plots have been shifting to the east, which means they're expecting this to stay over water. Now, I've been comparing that to a lot of different things. Again, here, 60% chance, X marks the spot, over water. Once again, on this chart too, 60% over water. When you check the Pacific side, we don't have much going on right now. That could change in 8 hours. So, but right now we're focusing on this guy, possible Barry, maybe named Barry by the time this live stream is over. Now take a look at this. So, with these charts going on, this pink color here, what do we got? Severe thunderstorm watch. And that is partially because we have a system moving in through Mexico. We have a little bit of deep burgundy there and possibly a tornado warning going on as well. Let's check Tornado HQ. Why don't we? Let's see what's going on here with that. Not showing it. Okay, so As far as Tornado HQ goes, the last confirmed tornado watch was 4 days ago. I find that hard to believe. I could be wrong because I did skip a day here, and it's showing the last one was Arkansas, Texas, but at the same time, we just looked at a chart that showed red is tornado warning. You can see it right there, tornado warning. Right here. Maybe not right there. Maybe that could be a glitch or it could have come and gone very quickly. But at this point right now, I'm not seeing that warning popping up. Let's check solar system scope again. Just double check. Turn the radars off. And that was about right here, right? Yeah, it was showing it right over New Mexico, but these are the areas they're showing there could be a possible tornado watch. I mean, we'll keep an eye on this to make sure, but I'm not too sure about that. Go to the archive, tornado HQ broke. Okay, well, that's good to know. No, confirmed in the last 3 days, multiple states, all BS. Very possible. Tornado HQ is down. Yes, it is down. Yes, thank you very much. But it still should be showing up here. Absolutely should be showing up here. In fact, let's scroll down and see if they even recognized it. If it's not showing up here and it stays, then it should pop up, or it did pop up and then dissipate. So that's a good thing. So as of right now, no tornado warnings, but we are seeing some flash flooding in western Texas. New Mexico has 2 severe threats going on. We got Oklahoma with 1 that originated in North Texas. And then we got our basic flow. It's the same arc we're dealing with. Some of them come up a little higher, but we've been seeing just this arc coming across the U.S. over the last couple weeks, actually, and then kind of peaking over in this area. And we had a bunch of scares here in Pennsylvania, guys. That's why I wasn't able to post for a little bit. A lot of things. It was just, it was mayhem. We had to actually leave the area for a little bit. I think I got some pictures out there for you on Instagram. I tried going live on Instagram, but it's time for a cell phone service change if I'm going to be doing that and keeping you guys up to date. So I'm going to have this app on the phone. I'm going to have it on the tablet, so when we're on the go, we don't always have to be on the laptop to do so. But yeah, I am not seeing that warning pop up. So Tornado HQ is currently down. As I've said before, it is a beta site, and we just had a good run with it. It was very accurate for a while. It was right on point with this. This is a very professional app you can use. You'll see this all day on TV. They use this exact app, Radar Scope. The link is in the description box. You can buy it. You can use it for free. And you can transfer to devices. So let's say you buy the app and your computer crashes, or you buy it for your phone breaks. You can transfer that data to your new phone, so you do not have to pay again. There are different tiers that are available, which you pay on a monthly basis, for those of you that are real weather buffs. But what you're seeing here is the basics. This is what you get, and it lets you follow severe areas. It gives you warnings, marine warnings, as we all saw. I just saw a little switch here, so I'm going to keep an eye on this area in New Mexico to see if that tornado warning pops up again. And we're going to get into a few things real quick, and then, like I said, I don't want to keep this too long. I want to work on a video. Chasing it sucked. I do my breathing, and yeah, oh man. Caroline's been teaching me how to breathe. I need to learn how to calm myself. I got some very useful links for information on 91L. Do you want to see them? I don't know if links will go through. Go ahead and post them. True Helper. If you see Norway Tracking, post a comment with some links in it. You can go ahead and approve those. I trust him. They're good links. What about Africa Coast? Africa coast. Okay, all right, Chris. Yes, you're right. Let's talk about that real quick because this is what I want to get into. Even though I'm not taking this lightly at all, what's going on down here at all, that very well could be Barry, but what I'm looking at is something a little different here. And I might have to backtrack a day to see it. So, all right, notice the date, guys. May 30th. So we're 2 days behind track. If I move to the 2nd, all right, so they're claiming within 2 days, this 60% chance of formation here is going to do its thing. Within 2 days or within 5 days, that's basically when they're saying they're not sure. It's kind of brewing. It's got all sorts of messes coming from the west, from the east, coming up through areas of Nicaragua and the Pacific Ocean. Two different oceans are playing a part in this system right now, including the Southern Caribbean. So basically, with this chart, we'll show you the density of hurricanes. It'll show you more dense areas of tropical, heavy water. Basically, it's a hurricane tracker for the most part. And by the 2nd, which is today, you see the low pressure pop up. We're at 1,007 millibars. And then if you go the 2 days, June 3rd, June 4th. So here's our 2 days. And now, according to the GFS, that low pressure moves into Mexico. And now, if you go back again to the spaghetti plots, you could see one of the plots has that thing moving right into Mexico. So the GFS matches with this particular strand, and some of those come into Mexico. Now, some of these, again, they don't stay out of the water. They don't. They stay in the water, which would strengthen this storm. So there's that green line again, and that's what the GFS is showing, that this thing's going to go inland and then cause a rain situation, then weaken, and then make its way up into the U.S. Again, what we don't want to see are this pink line. We don't want this over water, especially this black line that just looks like it wants to hook right to Louisiana and then hug Mississippi, Alabama, and then end up somewhere in the Florida Panhandle, which is just totally opposite of what everything else is saying. And even a lot of these you don't want to see because it would be a half on, half off situation where the counterclockwise spin is still recycling water and bringing it in. And that's going to be the issue for Barry if we do get this thing named Barry. But with that said, let's take a break from Barry for 1 second and look at what's coming after Barry. And yes, we are going to be looking about 7 days into the future, but Barry was here 7 days ago, and here it still is. So we are going to look at the next possible situation brewing after Barry. So if this does become Barry, we'll be seeing letter C shortly after based on this. Now, what I want you to watch is the west coast of Africa here. Here is the Bermuda Atlantic bubble. We're going to see this a lot. High pressure right in the middle. Anything that goes around, anything that goes near this bubble is going to go around it. You can even see it up here with this system that's moving way off Maine towards Nova Scotia. You see it wrapping around this high pressure bubble because the high pressures very seldomly let low pressure systems inside. And that's why we see these hurricanes ride down off the west coast of Africa through the Leeward Islands, and then they flatten out and they start heading this way. And then depending on the different pressures in this area, they'll go through the Leeward Islands and underneath and into the Gulf and sometimes come up, or they'll, die out here. They'll hit here. Sometimes they'll come right up through. It all depends on where the pressure is going to release because these storms naturally want to go to the north. If there is no high pressure bubble in the Atlantic Ocean, the storm would form and then just go straight up. It would be like that. But this high pressure bubble is controlling the path of these storms. And when you get little dips or low dips, you'll notice as a storm approaches, if there was a low dip, the storm will dip down and around that force. If there's an uplift like this, let's say there was a storm right here, you would start seeing this storm move right into that pocket because there's nothing stopping it. So what we do want is this bubble to be here no matter what. And more times than none, we want that bubble to be very low to keep these storms down in this area. We got a lot of land down here that could break these storms apart. I'm not saying I want to see the Leeward Islands or Puerto Rico. God, Puerto Rico does not need another hurricane. Neither does Dominican Republic or Haiti or Cuba or anywhere for that matter. Since 2017, we have enough hurricanes to last the next 5 years. So, anyway, back to my point. So you can see here, you're going to watch this right here, just this little green dot, and you're going to see what happens over time when things start coming off the west coast of Africa through the Leeward Islands, and then we're going to be dealing with something like this. You see it moving across. It gets to the Leeward Islands. We're already got a low pressure system by June 10th, which is 8 days away, right in the same area as Nate began a couple years ago. I know I'm going back and forth, but if you do the research, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then check this out. Actually, we got to change this back to June 1st, and we'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. And then, yes, this thing ends up here. So they just don't have enough data to show us as far as I want to go right now. But this is what it's looking like. And I'll check the chat real quick, guys. I'm sorry. Let's see what we got. Man, we really need to keep an eye out for Hurricane Barry. Yes, Hurricane Barry is going to be something. I don't know if it's going to be a hurricane. It might be Tropical Storm Barry. Regardless, when we enter that territory, this is not your normal thunderstorm with lightning and wind. This is a whole nother world, even though it's a tropical storm. And then once you get to Category 1, 2, and 3, that's a whole nother world. So we're going to get there when we get there. Those are usually the most accurate ones. Very true. Whether hopefully you got the joke. I don't know. Was that to me, the adjoining DED? And Karen, thank you again. I can't help but say thank you again for what you did. Thank you so much. I'm so freaking hungry. I would like to eat spaghetti from the charts. I wasn't reading the chat, the adjoining DED. It's very hard to read the chat at the same time that I'm trying to do a forecast. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to make it so I can see the chat while I'm doing my work at the same time. Because look, when I click the chart, chat goes away. And then I got to go back down here, open the chat again, so I miss some stuff. Yes, thank you so much to everyone that's donated to this channel. Hurricane, did the PDF I sent you help you of that radars? Yes, oh my God, and I'm so sorry. I did not thank you for that. I get a lot of emails, a lot of messages. I try to get back to everybody I possibly can. And this time of year, it gets extra busy, so I'm going to put in the extra effort to thank you all individually. Christopher, you do not have to worry about that, man. Trust me, you do not. You've already donated enough in knowledge, so that's good enough for me. You see the lightning in my video? I did see that. Yes, I did. I did see the lightning, absolutely. You got some good shots there. Depends on how much diesel it makes, man. Yes, cheese. That was the link for Tropical Tidbits. I can't copy the specific area yet. Okay, speaking of Tropical Tidbits, all right, chat's going to go away for a second. Here's what I am trying to get to here. So, we have Barry, yes. Boom. June 2nd. This 1006 pressure is Barry. Again, this was a day ago. We have a whole new set of data, so you might not see the same things we've been looking at as far as Barry goes for now. But what's coming after Barry? Now, here's the 6th, and again, I want you to watch the west coast of Africa. I want you to watch the Leeward Islands right here, and then I want you to watch how things progress along this line. And why is it going this way? We just talked about it. Because of the Bermuda Atlantic pressure bubble. This thing tends to form and get really big during hurricane season. During the winter months, it's kind of here, it's kind of there, it breaks, this, that. It will break during hurricane season, but this is a perfect example of why hurricanes travel the way they do. They do not travel on their own. They are forced and they are manipulated by other forces around them, especially high pressure bubbles in the ocean, including the jet stream. So, With that said, here we go. As I move forward, you're going to see this right here. You got another one there, and you got one here. So this is all traveling along the underside of this high Bermuda Atlantic bubble, just as the rules go. But once it reaches the southern Caribbean, we start to see that. This is my concern right now. Yes, it is 11 to 12 days away, a lot of time for change. But when we get this part of the season going and we have a Bermuda Atlantic bubble like this, it may not be a hurricane, but something is coming underneath the Leeward Islands or through the Leeward Islands, underneath Puerto Rico, underneath Haiti and the Dominican Republic, underneath Cuba, may shoot the gap. We don't know yet. I don't want to go that far into predictions, but this is something to watch, guys. This may well be our first hurricane. Unless Barry takes that spot, we just don't know yet. I mean, after seeing those spaghetti plots where it keeps it in the water, it's very possible that we could see a Cat 1 or at least a named tropical storm. But when it comes to hurricane talk, as of right now, this moment, again, I'm not saying this will be a hurricane. I'm saying as of right now, over the next 10 days, our best bet for a hurricane would be this, and chances are it'll be the letter C, because I feel like Barry will be named as a tropical storm. But this is what you saw in the intro, guys. This thing develops very fast. It comes straight from the West African coast. It follows that line like a good little student. It comes underneath Puerto Rico. But again, over the next 10 days, that could change. This thing could easily, we could have a lift in the Bermuda Atlantic bubble, allowing this thing to come more north. It could come over Puerto Rico. It could come over the more northern areas of the Leeward Islands. And we don't know what's going to happen. But all I know is that what we're seeing here right now is the beginning of what we saw last year. Very severe weather. This would take up the entire panhandle of Florida. That includes Naples, which is where a very big hurricane hit. Basically, could have been a lot worse had it not clipped Cuba. And also Mexico Beach, where Category 5 Michael now hit also. So the panhandle of Florida, not getting much of a break as far as the early hurricane season goes. So, and not only that, but if we were to go into the future even more, again, based on the high pressure in the Atlantic, you notice this thing doesn't just come out and then wrap back out into the ocean. It can't do that because of the high pressure bubble. Again, you're going to see these storms go up and around and then down here, and then they tend to flare up like crazy right here, right before they go towards Ireland. So we're going to see a repeat of that. It's a common theme. And then even right here, 984 pressure, that's a strong storm right there. That could affect areas of Massachusetts. That's going to cause issues for Long Island, even up into Maine. And again, I'm going to repeat this over and over again. I'm not saying that this is going to happen because there's a lot of time in between now and this happening, but just seeing this type of stuff is getting us prepped for what to expect. The Outer Banks, there you go. Check this out. So we move up. By June 15th, we may have a situation going on somewhere in the Gulf, not necessarily the panhandle of Florida, but it's there. These things are happening. They're happening quick. And what it's showing me is that we are ahead of time. Basically, we're not going to have to wait till July and August or even September to start seeing these strong hurricanes, which is leading me to believe that we're going to be seeing a 2017 type hurricane season. Now, we did not see this last year. Last year, we were not seeing storms like this forming this quick or this many and stuff like this. I just don't like stuff like that when it gets so close to the East Coast this early in the season. It's still very cold water in the Northeast. So to see this thing come up this far, it kind of bounces off. Right after it hits Outer Banks, it kind of goes off in this direction, whether that's following the warm water, or that's part of the jet stream. Yes, that is absolutely part of the jet stream pushing this out, so let's hope it stays that way. Again, these are all hypothetical ideas right here because we are so far out. June 14th, we're only at the 2nd. This is 12 days away. And then when you bring it up to here, we're 2 weeks out. So basically, you don't even want to look at this stuff, but it's a point I'm trying to make is that we're seeing these things earlier than we usually see them. But we are on a 3 to 4 year streak now where we've seen the letters A, B, and or C being used before the month of June. So I hope that all made sense to you guys. This is going to be a chart we look at a lot and many other charts. So with that said, let's check out the chat. Audio's good. Visuals are good. Finally. I can't believe I went that 5 minutes without switching the screen. That's the 3rd time in a row I've done it. Chris, come on. We know I don't breathe. I have gills. I don't have to breathe. I'm just kidding. I can answer that for you, Chanel. The Mississippi River is not okay. It is not okay by any means. In fact, let's do something real quick. Let's look at Mississippi River flooding and breaching. So, apparently, 2 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 13 hours ago. Let's see which one of these I can click without getting copyright. AccuWeather's usually nice to me. I do a lot of good stuff for them, or at least I try. So we'll zoom in. Levee failures along the Mississippi, Missouri, and Arkansas River prompt mandatory evacuations. Guys, this was as early as 4 hours ago. I do not want this ad playing. Go away. Please go away. Please go away. Please go away. In fact, we'll just go underneath it and hit pause and X. There we go. Okay, so look, this is a levee failure right here. Mississippi River, boom, levee failure. This has been going on all up and down the Mississippi River due to the ridiculous amount of moisture and rain that's been coming in from the Gulf, from the northwest down through Washington and Oregon. We've been getting systems coming through Mexico and Texas. And again, ground zero. I'm going to say this over and over again until you guys are like, stop saying ground zero. But it all happens right here. And it just so happens that the Mississippi River runs right along this area. And that's why we're seeing these breaches. It's the water. The water is too much. The ground is saturated. And it's only going to get worse, in my opinion. Spaghetti plots. I think we're done with this chart, right, guys? Because it's actually outdated. Let's refresh it. And it's staying the same. So we're not even going to use this spaghetti plot. This one's a lot better. I like this better. It's colorful. It's easier for you guys to see. But again, this is back to Barry now. Barry, it's got potential, guys. It very much has potential. It's moving slow. It's gaining momentum. I am not seeing spin yet. In fact, let's get to... we could check this out quick, too. Just to give you an idea that it's not just the Caribbean stuff that is causing the moisture. We already have a system in northern Texas and Oklahoma moving into Arkansas and Louisiana as this thing is brewing, a.k.a. Barry, moving up this way. So we have the Gulf flow mixed with this system that came from the Baja region across West Texas, parts of New Mexico, and now kind of still blowing up in Texas. And now look at that. I mean, come on. It's almost like a straight line from Mexico. You go straight up the U.S. through Colorado and then all the way up to Canada. It's just like a bunch of water hoses just unleashing every bit of water they have. And then within hours, our entire central west part of the country is covered in moisture. It happens that quickly in an 8-hour period. Not even. Let's count. We're at 1826 UTC, so we go 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, of course, refresh. We're talking about 9 hours from this to this. 9 hours. And then check out that. That's not fun right there. That's a situation. And I'm surprised that that's not, it is on the chart actually. Severe flooding there. And then we got Oklahoma with a severe storm watch. Now, if we go back to here, that severe storm watch is considered here. But then this border area here between Texas is not showing much. It's very interesting. Some sites might be behind, some might not be, but then again, some of those storms may not be strong enough to cause severe storm warnings. That could be straight rain. Let's see. Alternator takes over and runs a steady stream of power. Yeah, the alternators are great. So Barry West, no, there. I have a theory. 2019-27 equals 2.2 landfalls last year. Florence and Michael were doomed. Yeah, and you know what? In my opinion, keywords, in my opinion, everybody knew Michael was a Category 5, including you-know-who, MSM. They knew, we called it. Let's see if I can get Brian to take a breath. All right, you ready? All right, there's one. You got it. Tropical tidbits analysis. Let's see what Norway has to say. Are we looking at shear winds, Norway? Are you talking about shear wind? "30 minutes? Come on. I'm still used to getting my ears cleaned. I can't handle all these new things in my life right now. Just put a period before .com and PNG. Oh, okay, yeah, right. Actually, you know what, Norway? You should be able to just post a link, and I should be able to approve it. True helper. Don't take her side. I'm telling you. They're all going to start taking her side, and then I'm going to get yelled at by everybody. But she's great. I'm telling you, this woman has changed my life as far as anxiety issues, you know, talking this, that, the other. I'm telling you, breathing is everything. It works. You don't need medicines. You don't need all this other crap. All you need to do is just calm yourself down, breathe, and just let go sometimes. And it really helps. Okay, well, JB, unfortunately, unless if you have solid eyes, well, not many homes will make it through. Now, Cat 3, geez, no, Cat 3s will rip your homes apart, piece by piece. And the longer they're there, the more pieces will go. In fact, you'll start noticing, guys, on the Weather Channel, Sandy was strong, but not as strong as any other storm. No, very true, Solvis. And in fact, I was in Northeast PA during Sandy. I'm 120 miles inland. And still to this day, besides that storm, when I went out and live streamed for you guys, that was the second scariest moment I've had in this house. Hurricane Sandy scared me because I knew it was coming, but when it hit, yeah, you could feel the house rocking. I'm 120 miles inland, keep in mind, and this thing hit Jersey, so it kind of lined up with Northeast PA in a way. So we did get some of it. We didn't get the brunt of it. You know, once that eye wall hits land, it immediately starts to dissipate. But that was quite a trip. That was in fact, I may have even been posting at that time. That was 2017, so 2 years ago. You would have to go back 2 years in videos. Oh, and by the way, I have to say this because, you know, it's just something special, and I know you guys would appreciate it. I know I mentioned we have reached over 2 million views on this channel in just over 2 years. We hit our 2 year anniversary mark not too long ago. Caroline reminded me. I forgot about it. And there was one other thing. What is it? Yesterday, we posted our 500th video. 500 on this channel alone. I've had many channels. I actually have another channel that I'm going to start. Thank you very much. Thank you. I know I don't like saying stuff like that for congratulations, but it's worth noting. So, and it's because of you guys. I mean, if you guys weren't here watching and, you know, into this stuff, then, you know, there'd be no reason to even talk about it. But dude, you're 15. You're just coming into your own. Trust me, they will come. Maybe wrong choice of words there. Don't worry, you'll have your opportunities, my friend. Positive attitudes. I remember in the teens and 20s. Oh my God. All right, back to weather. All right, so the lightning chart, like I showed you guys here, this is a good example here too with this lightning stuff. Remember how I showed you how within an 8-hour period, out of nowhere, we got Colorado in there, we got all the western states. It looks pretty clear, pretty clear, and then boom, it just blows up. It's a upflow, it's a cross trade wind, it's partially the flow from the Gulf. It's all sorts of things. And then you go to the lightning chart, and there you go. There's your matching right there. So you go here. You could see these states covered in heavy, heavy storms. And then you go back to this chart, and they line right up. So a lot of the action is dipping south into Mexico. We got western Texas getting hit pretty hard. And up through Oklahoma, right where we were seeing those tornadoes. In fact, there was a big tornado scare here. This is when that Jefferson City tornado happened as it moved into Missouri. Let's hope that's not the situation. They haven't been talking much about another outbreak, at least anytime soon. I think we're done with outbreaks for the next 3 years after what we went through recently. So... all right, this one, again, this site's not working right now, so we're just going to get that out of the way. Once it gets back up, we'll use it again. Ventus Sky, let's take a look at this because this is what is going to show us not only our Cape energy, which would involve tornadoes, so I'm just going to show you guys that it's not as bad as it was. When you see these dark burgundies, that's what you want to look out for. Luckily, this is out in the Atlantic Ocean. If it's out there, we're not too worried about it. But you are seeing a little bit of those burgundy colors in here mixed with the yellow. That's good. That's normal. We go into the 4th. We go into the 5th. It even lessens as it gets into the central part of the U.S., so that's a good thing. So that energy isn't quite there for the tornado outbreaks we've been looking at. You get into the 7th. That is when they're expecting possible Barry to make its way up into the areas of San Antonio or Houston, unless it makes that right-hand hook towards the panhandle, which we don't want. But according to Ventus Sky, this thing is going to kind of follow the flow of these lines you see. When I say flow, this is what I'm talking about. There's a constant flow coming up from the Caribbean, up into Louisiana, up into Houston, up into San Antonio. And being that Barry is down here, Barry is more than likely going to follow one of these paths and either skim the border of Mexico and Texas, or it might just miss it and come straight through Houston. So that's why this site is touch and go. They're showing some pretty high numbers up by Dallas with tornado possible situations. But once we get to the 9th, 10th, 9th and 10th, I want to say, is the highest chance we will have for tornadoes, but that's also including that rain we showed on this chart. So again, it's all coming full circle. Barry is responsible for this situation that's going on now. And again, here are those spaghetti plots. It's showing it. We got them right here. We know where this thing is more than likely going to go. The widest margin would be this green and this black. You usually split the difference, and that's where most models show. Again, this is not a guarantee. This is weather we're dealing with. This thing could go this way if it wanted to. It's all about the pressures around it. And right now, the pressures are showing that this thing is going to follow the Gulf flow. It could go right into land and weaken quickly, or it could take one of these pink paths. This dark green path would cause a little more of an issue than this green line here. Basically, long story short, guys, you always want to remember this rule of thumb. When the water is warm enough and you have a system that is possibly forming into an invest or a tropical storm or subtropical, anything within that lingo, you do not want it over warm water for long periods of time. That is where the strength comes from, and that is why I'm always constantly talking about how when these hurricanes travel from the west coast of Africa across about 7,000, 5,000 miles of ocean, warm water ocean by the equator, that is why those storms get so huge. That's why we can watch a Category 5 storm travel for 5 days before it even gets to us. And that is simply because of this. You can see it highlighted right here. This is where the equator meets. So you can see upflow this way and then downflow this way, and then it meets like a highway like that. And we could see some severe weather coming off the west coast already. A lot of it drops down from here, and then it'll make its curve this way. But we're already seeing storms forming off the west coast. So, I don't want to say it's going to be a super busy season, but just seeing this stuff this early, it's leading me to believe that we have a decent amount of stuff to worry about. Now, let's go to wind speed. When you switch to that, it's like a whole lot of nothing. So when we're talking about Barry really doesn't show much of color as you move through these next 2 to 5 days, as they said. You could see the movement of moisture, but we don't see a defined system. So that's leading me to believe that Barry, although can pack a punch, is not necessarily going to be a hurricane, but it's going to be a rainmaker. It's going to continue to add water to the Mississippi River. It's going to continue to flood the central part of America, which has just been in the news every single day for tornadoes or for this or for that, with the levee breaches in the Mississippi River. I mean, just think about it. Just having this constant weather, getting crews out there just to fix this stuff. Like, it's hard to work in the rain. I've worked in the rain before. When you have flowing water, you need to find a way to stop that flowing water just so you could fix one spot. You fix one spot and another spot breaks, like the Clark Griswold movie, Vegas Vacation, where he's in the Hoover Dam tour, and the wall starts leaking, so he sticks a piece of gum on it, and then another hole pokes, so he puts another piece of gum on there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you fix one, the other one starts. So that's just the way this stuff works, guys. It's unbelievable. All right, so I think we went over this with the levees. We just talked about it. According to officials, the levee was breached Sunday afternoon, and the emergency management warned once more for people to evacuate. So they are calling for evacuations. I'm not sure if these are mandatory or if these are just like, okay, you have 7 feet of water heading towards you, it would be smart to leave, but maybe if we read a little further, we'll find out. Further north in Iowa. So we've already talked about this. We knew Iowa was going to be next because of what we've been seeing as far as weather moving up that far north, even though it's still cooler in Michigan. Michigan is under a frost warning right now, unbelievably. A flood barrier along the swollen Mississippi River failed Saturday, flooding 4 to 6 blocks of downtown Burlington, a city of about 25,000 people. That's 170 miles, 274 kilometers southeast of Demonois, however you want to say it. The large sandfill barrier gave way on Saturday afternoon. Some businesses in downtown area were forced to evacuate, according to the Associated Press. Another levee breach in northwestern Missouri caused officials to conduct water rescues by boat in the town of Levee on Saturday. No injuries were reported. That's a good thing. But just look at this. These are signs. These have posts that were once in the ground that you could see. You can't see them anymore because the Mississippi River is flooding. And we've been worried about this for a long time. Try to avoid the pictures a little bit. I'll put the AccuWeather website under this video once it processes. It takes a little bit after a live stream video to process. The levee breach took place along Durgan's Creek. So we're talking 3 now. Which flows into the Mississippi River just upstream of West Quincy. So we have rivers that are breaching, that are leading into the Mississippi. So when you have rivers and creeks that are breaching themselves before they even get to the Mississippi, you know you have an issue. And then if you guys remember, just 3 years ago, we had droughts in the Mississippi. So things are changing big time. I could read on here, but here's a chart that you would want to look at. From Arkansas, this river here, Missouri, all these little rivers here are all flowing into the Mississippi, and each of these are having their own breaches. So, again, ground zero, guys. I can't say it enough. This is where everything happens. And then once things happen here and things warm up in the summer, it's going to be the Northeast that's next. The Northeast is going to have quite the summer as far as weather. We don't need that. We talked about this. Again, I'm going to try to keep this one a little short. I don't want to move on for 2 hours. If anything, we'll do 2 live streams because, you know, a lot of people don't like skipping through 2 hours of video to get to a point. So I'm going to start labeling certain areas and stuff like that. But long story short, guys, this video is about Barry. We need to keep an eye on Barry. All right, we're going to go back here. And we're going to look at current storms. Right now, Barry is Invest 91L. It is starting to begin to circulate. I might be able to refresh this, get some new info. Not quite yet, but trust me, things are going to change as far as that goes. Where can I get the tropical tidbits? The normal part of it. We'll just type in tropical tidbits. And we'll check out the chat again. Into thin air, tropical tidbits. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Norway. Much appreciated. Did I miss something that I shouldn't have missed? Sunny A, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys do not have to do this. The adjoining DED, you know the deal, man. Thank you. And I asked you about your other channel. Where's your other channel? Weather Hub TV, this thing might form in the next 4 hours, for all we know. But I wouldn't put too much emphasis on Barry being a hurricane. I don't think it's time for Hurricane Barry. Maybe Tropical Storm Barry. But as we get towards the middle part and the 3rd week of June, I would suspect we're going to start seeing some possible Category 1s, if not some stuff you're going to see on mainstream media that are going to lead you to believe we're going to see some Category 1s. So, politics, yeah, that's why we don't do politics here. It takes over everything. It causes arguments. I just don't get me wrong. I enjoy politics. I watch the news every day. I want to know what's going on. Even though half of it is, you know, that word, my initials. It's basically my initials, BS. This is my second channel. Oh, okay, so it's the same name, just different picture. See, man, you're confusing me now. Thanks a lot. So now I have to look for 2 adjoining DED accounts with 2 different pictures. Ay caramba, as if I don't have enough on my plate. I'm just kidding, buddy. You make as many channels as you want. You're always welcome here. Oh boy. I mentioned quickly. Thank you again. I'll hide his tea for missing it. What did I miss, Norway? I'm not missing my tea over this. Is this what we're talking about? It's water vapor imagery of 97. Add the period before the .com. All right, so I'm just going to take this. Tropicaltidbits.com. This. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I just want to copy this one part right here. You know what? I'm just going to do this. Okay, so we'll go to here. Delete. And we add the dot. That's my boy. And this is why we love Norway tracking. So you guys can clearly see we have the counterclockwise rotation starting. Yes, up here it's moving up into the east. We got this kind of counterclockwise, but this is what you want to look for. And see these little puffs here, guys? These are exploding storm cells. So this thing is packing energy. It is getting ready to move. And if any of those spaghetti plots that we were looking at are correct, in fact, let's get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. We might need that. Don't need this. We're not going to need that. Don't need this. Might need that. Lightning chart, maybe. This we're good on. Ventu Sky we spoke about. But this is very important. So thank you again, Norway Tracking. I'm going to save this link. But you guys can clearly see these storms. Every little puff you see is a separate storm. They're starting to cling together. They're going to start drawing from the ocean water, that warm air. It's going to be drawing up through the middle. And then you're going to see it pour out over the tops of these clouds. And then if this does begin to form, you're going to start seeing more rotation, more and more and more. And if this thing clips land, it might weaken. But if this thing does start to hook out this way, we're going to have a whole nother story to talk about. So the chances of this becoming Barry are getting bigger and bigger as we're watching this. But I just don't know. I'm not sure that we're going to be seeing a category out of this tropical storm. Very possible. But what it's going to do is, in the long run, it's going to be a rain situation. It's going to add just more flooding to areas that we do not need it. And as I say that, I got rid of all of our charts that are showing where the water vapor is going to go. So, again, guys, like I said, I'll look at these charts similar to these, and just watch them and watch them and watch them. And eventually you start seeing patterns. And if you notice these clouds here that are starting to like whip off, you got to understand counterclockwise movement. Higher elevation clouds, lower elevation clouds, they can move in their own, directions depending on what's going on the ground or whatever. But the higher level clouds, when you start seeing them turning counterclockwise, that's what you need to look out for. And that is why we have a 60% invest going on right now. And also with some of this coming from Central America, even though it looks like it's flowing out into the Pacific, a lot of this can get caught up in this system here and will add to it. So, Norway Tracking, thank you for finally explaining that and allowing me to finally find it, because now I get my tea. That's the most important part. And where's my chat? There it is. Haha. Where is he? Where is he? You missed the $20 too. What? No, I got the 20 was from Karen. Karen was our our big donator today, which she did not have to do. We had our buddy the ad coming in. We had Sunny A. All awesome people. It was right after Karen. Oh man, the ADD, if you did that, man, thank you so much. And I urge you, my friend, since you are so young, start putting some of this money away for your own weather equipment. If this is something you want to do, start saving your money and put it towards some apps and some Solvis. Good to see you, buddy. Karen O, Karen G. Am I getting Karens confused now? Hey, caramba. Karen O. Karen O. The adjoining. Type X on. What kind of dog? Yes, pop-ups in the south of adult anymore. No way tracking. Yeah, I know. I'm LOLing myself right now. Okay, so. Even though we're having fun in the chat, I really don't want this to be super long because I've been having issues with these things uploading after 2 hours. And we're going on... How long have we been on so far, guys? 129? Fair enough. As long as we keep it under 2 hours, we're good to go. 2019 is going to be bad. Yes, it is. It might be. It very well might be. 91L has not changed. Still there. Still same plots. Yeah, guys, this is basically just a waiting game at this point. We could sit on here and wait and see exactly what's going to happen with this, but we would be here for hours. These things do take time to form, but it's just, it's very interesting to start seeing again the rotation. You're seeing the rotation. Some eyes that are not used to looking at this stuff, you may not see exactly what we're talking about, but there is certainly counterclockwise rotation within these storms. And again, it's all different parts of it. You can see this one blows up here, and it looks like it's going straight down to the Pacific. But again, some of this is getting pulled up into this counterclockwise system that is a low-pressure system that would be Barry. So it's about what's going on around all these things. And that's why it's so touch and go when it comes to weather. One day you wake up and you're expecting something, and then you look at your charts or you look at the weather and everything's different. And it usually happens in intervals of 8 hours. And then when you're following an actual hurricane, you're talking things could change dramatically within an hour, like an eye wall replacement cycle. When you see that, as it's approaching land, that's a good thing. But if you get an eye wall replacement cycle while it's in its path towards land, that actually will strengthen a hurricane. So you have so many different things that can happen that affect these situations that, you know, it's a daily thing you have to be on. And this part right here, I want to show you guys this. If you could see my mouse. Right there is what could or could not really give this system that boost it needs to then become what a lot of people are expecting it to become, and that is at least Tropical Storm Barry. I mean, we had Andrea out here that was subtropical. That was interesting to talk about, but we kind of knew it was going to get pushed out into the Atlantic because the jet stream was just right there to help us. But it's not always going to be there to help us. That just happened by chance. It just happens, you know, it depends on what's going on up north by the North Pole, how the waves are coming down, and then we get our section of the jet stream. Had the jet stream been up like this and come down this way, we could have very well seen that system come right up into this area. Even if it wasn't a hurricane, it still would have been a big rainmaker. But now that we're in hurricane season and the water's warm enough, that's what we have to watch out for. And that's going to be a big focus on this channel going forward, our hurricanes and things of that nature. We can get rid of this. We are still at 60% as of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, June 2nd. We're 60% in at 8 p.m. Oh, man, the temperatures are certainly there, ready for it. I mean, these are land temperatures. The water temperatures are very similar, probably about 81, 82. Some spots 83 to 85. That's your prime temperature for sustaining a hurricane or a cyclone, or at least enhancing a storm for that matter. We still have the rest of June going into July for it to really heat up in the Gulf, and then we could start seeing some crazy action. But I mean, it's game time, guys. Like, we could see hurricanes any day, and we could see multiple of them. So this is where we were at this time last year when we started talking about this, and then 2017 was just unbelievable. It was just hurricane after hurricane after hurricane. We had 10 named storms in a row, broke a record. 3, maybe 4 of those being Category 5s. Luckily, none hit land except for Michael, which was actually corrected 6 months after hurricane season. Even though on this channel and many others we were saying it was a Category 5, no doubt about it. The people of Florida were saying it was a Category 5, but still it took 6 months for the National Hurricane Center to officially announce that it was a Category 5 hurricane. But we knew it was. And with that said, we're going to take one more look here. We're going to cut this one soon because I want to keep it under 2 hours. It is 11:35 on the East Coast right now. Take one more look at the chat, see how everyone's doing. Ghost Adventures on. What day is it? Sunday. Tomorrow's new Ghost Adventures, right? We'll show that one. I use a lot of different stuff. For example, this site here is Radar Scope. You got to pay for this one. Most of them are... hello, Lori. How are you? Sunny A, maybe next show address the Sahara dust. Yeah, well, actually, you know what? I can show you the Sahara dust. In fact, last year I thought it was going to play a much more significant part than it did, but it really didn't affect much. So yeah, this is a little exaggerated. The chart I usually look at, it'll show it come out to this point here. And yes, there is a theory that molecules of dust mixed with certain storms will enhance them. It could kill them. It depends on how fine the dust is. But you could see it. We have Sahara dust that's already in the Caribbean. And with that said, you know, we have stuff forming in the Caribbean. It hasn't quite reached that area where the letter B is going to be. But yeah, there you have it. This is our Sahara dust coming in. And again, this is the density chart here. So the lighter the dust, the smaller it is, obviously. We're going G/M to the second power as far as reading this chart. Dust column mass density. This time of year, we're always getting dust coming off the Sahara. But again, there is a theory that this dust actually aids in making these storms stronger, and in some cases, killing off the storms. So it's a hit or miss with that. But a very good question, according to the Sahara dust. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Southwest Idaho tornado touchdown. Are you serious? Where? Let's see. Are you talking about the past, or are we talking about right now? Because this is not showing anything about a tornado. And a lot of our severe warnings have gone away as well. check out Idaho Falls. Yeah, there's not much going on in Idaho unless I read that comment wrong. Ryan, can you please know we're tracking a moderator who really helps answer so many questions while you do your work? Yeah, we're going to be adding more moderators for sure. This part of the season always gets very busy, a lot of comments. And yes, it's hard to answer everybody. So right now we have True Helper in there, we have Type X, and yes, Norway will be on that list for sure. And yeah, he's been doing a lot of off-season work about stats and stuff and things we can use to compare to other seasons in order to try to get an idea of what to expect. So, yes, Sonny, I hope I did answer your question. I know that was a simple chart, but yeah, the Sahara dust is a very, very big player in hurricane season. Very, very big one. I will consider this absolutely, yes. See, it's hard to in a community like ours where like we're all very close and we talk and we answer each other. Um, it's hard because I want to make everybody a moderator. You know what I mean? That's just the type of person I am. But we'll have different sessions. It's Salvis is even so I would love to have Salvis as a moderator because people have work schedules that they can't always be here. So if I can at least get 1 to 2 people that are around at least at any point during the day, that would be great. So at least we have someone in here handling things while I can't watch. Mr. Branch, how are you? And yes, of course, man, anytime. I always appreciate talking to you. Thank you, Rosa. Welcome. How are you? No problem, babe. I missed it. You caught it. I missed it. That's why you're here. Jack Fay, 100% Sunny GTA into thin air. Let me see if I missed anything. Better rewind to find my donation. Oh, I'll find it, buddy. I know you did it. Thank you. Thank you. Just thank you. AD, man. You are the man. Karen, thank you so much again. Sunny, I believe it was. Totally unnecessary, but thank you guys so much. It really does. Every little bit helps. That's all. The only way I could put it. And you're never gonna hear this channel asking for money. That's for sure. That's just not gonna happen. I can't deal with that. I can't handle when channels that have plenty of subs, plenty of following, plenty of everything they need, and they still feel the need to ask for money. And you know what? I just don't agree with it. But you know what? That's my opinion. They're allowed to do it. They can do it, and that's fine. Norway, thank you so much for this chart, man. This thing is very mesmerizing to me, and it's giving me a very, very much better idea of what's going on here. So this is going to be very useful in the next about 8 hours. So I have an off-topic question. Has anyone to Austin, Texas, Franklin barbecue? Everybody says it's good. Would love to go have it. I would love a straight-up Texas barbecue right now because I am starving. Rosa, I'm glad. I'm very happy they helped you, and that's why we do it. I'm serious. Yeah, Norway, don't even worry about that, man. It's the work. The quality of the work draws the people, and they will eventually come. I mean, we all know during 2017, hurricanes became the topic of the town. The channel got big, and ever since then, it's been a ride. So it's timing. It's a lot of stuff. YouTube's a very cut throw thing. I didn't want to say throat because that could be determined as bad language. YouTube has changed a lot over the years, that's for sure. Just use DoorDash. DoorDash, what's that? Crawfish? Where are we getting this food? Where's this food coming from that I'm always missing? It takes time, dull crash tracking. Once you break that 100 mark, uh, it, YouTube works in tiers. So basically, as far as what I understand, once you reach a certain number of subs, you're considered on another tier. So you'll be put out to other channels that are similar to yours. And then, some people get lucky. They'll put out one video, it'll go viral. And just for that alone, they'll get subs. They don't have to be on a tier. They don't have to be this or that. It just happens. So it's the luck of the draw. It's video quality. It's how much you interact with your subs. It's whether or not you're just clickbaiting people. I mean, there's plenty of channels out there that still to this day every video they put out is clickbait, but yet they have 300,000 subs. They're allowed to say what they want, do what they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you just gotta understand YouTube is one of those places where either you gotta grind and grind and grind and grind for what you have, or you get lucky and you're just one of those people that you get one viral video out there and then all of a sudden everybody thinks that you know what you're talking about. So it's just the way it is. And it's going to be just a matter of time before there's a platform that battles YouTube where we can all go and hopefully avoid those situations. But until then, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here doing the same thing I always do. I'm starting to introduce a little bit more of the editing. Caroline's going to be getting involved. We're getting her channel going. And it's just going to be much better stuff to watch, more intriguing, more facts, more stuff that you guys need to know, rather than just repeat information that every other channel is posting. Because you notice the second something pops up on these weather charts, you have 50 channels up there saying, oh my God, here it comes, hurricane this, hurricane that, when really they're just trying to get on to get the video out first. It's the way it is. It's the way it goes. That's YouTube for you. Rosa, ay caramba, thank you so much. So much. Unnecessary, but thank you. You guys are incredible people. I can't say it enough. I honestly, I get like speechless when people do things like that. Like, I'm not used to it. I don't. Just thank you so much, Rosa. I really, really appreciate it. And trust me, I notice you're in here all the time. So thank you very much for that. I know, and I almost feel bad even saying that. Like, it's just, a lot of people work hard for their money, and, all I'm trying to do is give you guys weather forecasts and keep you up to date on what's going on, and I can't tell you what that means to us. It keeps, I'm not saying that's the motivation factor. I'll do this with no donations whatsoever, but it just, it reminds me that at least there's people out there being helped by this information, and that's what matters. That's what matters to me, at least. So, with that said, before I can let you guys waste any more money on this type of stuff, we're going to cut this short just so it's under 2 hours. We can get it up and posted. It is 11:47. We do have a chance for another live stream tonight. If not, I'll make a short video where we can talk about upcoming things. We have some other topics we're going to get into over the next couple days. But obviously, over the next few weeks, while this hurricane stuff starts to begin, yes, you will be seeing a lot of hurricane stuff from this channel. Any sort of global events, earthquakes, that type of stuff, I'll be all over that. Yes, Norway, I know. You and me, you've been up till 5, 6 in the morning with me sometimes. But, Yeah, guys, one more time, I'll put this chart up here. This is what we're looking at now. Barry is starting to get some formation to it. And then we got to start talking about the border of Mexico and Texas because that looks to be the area this thing wants to go. So, if the next live stream is not about that, the next video will be. If there's any updates as far as the uptick to 70%, 80% chance of cyclone formation, you bet your butt I'll be right here talking about it. So, guys, thank you for the awesome live stream. Thank you all who donated. I just thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope we can continue this, guys. I'm glad I see a lot of familiar faces, and I like that because then we don't have to worry about, um, you know, trolls, that type of thing. But it's going to come with the territory. So that's why we got good mods in place. We're going to have even more good mods in place, and we won't have to worry about that type of stuff. So, and once again, guys, I got to do this. Radar Scope, amazing website. And I'm not just making that up. We've used this for the last 2 weeks, and we have predicted tornadoes, especially the Jefferson City tornado. We mentioned Jefferson City hours, multiple times, hours before that tornado went through Jefferson City, and that was all via this app, Radar Scope. You can go to your app store. You could buy it for your PC, your Mac, your cell phone, your tablet. Cell phone and tablets are about $9, and then if you want it for your computer for a lifetime, it is $29, one payment, and then it does come with tiers. You can buy extra extensions to it. Those tend to be monthly, but completely worth it. So, and hopefully in the near future, I will have a promo code for those of you that want this, and you'll get a bit of a discount. So, I think that's what we had to cover today, guys. Thank you so much again. Caroline, thank you. As always, true helper, you are the man. Thank you. Norway Tracking, we're going to get you in there as a moderator. Solvis, you too. And everyone who donated, guys, thank you so much. I mean, I know I said this like 10 times, but it means the world. Rosa, we had a lot today, guys. That's all I can say is thank you guys so much. Minecraft, I would love to play Minecraft. If I have the time, I'll play it, but Caroline stole my Xbox, so I would have to do it on the computer. I want to see what she says to that. Oh, mass destruction. I hope it was a good stream, man. I'm getting better. Except for those first 5 minutes where I'm talking, like you guys can see my charts and it's just there on the waiting screen. But we'll try to avoid that next time. Savior Skies, thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. That's what we're working towards, guys. We stick to facts and data and changes. We try not to predict things. We try to warn people, and that's what we do. That's what we want to do. We don't want to scare. I know I do some of those sensational titles, but if you think about it, the titles match the info. If you look at any of my thumbnails or any of my titles, that matches the info in the video. So that is key right there. So, stole the Xbox, my kind of girl. Sonny, don't side with her. You're not siding with her. I knew this was going to happen. And I'm telling you, when she starts her channel, I expect to see a lot of you over there. So you guys can either sub to her Type X channel as she has right now, or we're going to have a Type X Files channel for her where she could post a lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of stuff that we do outside of the weather stuff that we film, and it's awesome. We have some awesome footage for you guys, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. But again, before I ramble on again for another 15 minutes, guys, thank you so much. I'll be back on if I can be for a live stream. It is just about midnight on the East Coast. And that's what we got for now, guys. Again, thank you, my love, Caroline. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Ken. Just sent me. I'm glad he did. Thanks for your efforts. Yes, anytime, buddy. Sunny A, thank you. Absolutely. Where's my girl up here? You're off screen now, but thank you very much again. Very much appreciated. Right team, Carolina. I know it's not everyone. All right, guys, I'm going to end this stream now. The chat will go on for a little bit longer, but you guys are great. Thank you so much. I will talk to you all very soon. Everyone be safe. Have a plan. Be prepared. That's all I can say. It's time. We're in that time right now. Thank you so much.